I'm not resisting. You don't have to be so hard.
The man you see surrounded by 6 arresting Miami police officers is photographer and blogger Carlos Miller. While on a public street during an Occupy protest in January, Miller was arrested after aiming his camera at officers.
They're recording us. They don't want us recording them. And they really want to put a scare factor into us.
Miller, who runs the blog Photography is Not a Crime, has been arrested 3 times for exercising his First Amendment right of freedom of speech and expression. According to many police departments across the country, including the Los Angeles police, Miller's actions fall into the realm of potential terrorism.
This is the police state that people have been talking about or have talked about in years past. This is no longer paranoia or conspiracy. This is where we're headed.
Investigative reporter Jason Leopold compares Los Angeles' anti-terror campaign to New York's controversial spying program. LAPD officers have been given the green light to report photography and other illegal activities to their counterterrorism division. Here in Los Angeles, journalists say they've been detained for doing just this, taking photographs in front of the jail. Now, free speech advocates believe this is part of a larger trend of law enforcement taking anti-terror tactics to the extreme.
I want to know who you are, and I want to know why you're taking pictures of the subway system. Al-Qaeda would love to buy your picture, so I want to know if you are in cahoots with Al-Qaeda to sell these pictures to them for terrorist purposes.
Photographer Sean Nee was detained by an overzealous Los Angeles sheriff's deputy who tried to connect Nee to Al-Qaeda. That sheriff's department is now being sued, but even lawsuits like Sean Nee's are not deterring police from toughening their anti-terror crackdowns in the U.S.
Our democracy is on thin ice these days.
Attorney Jim Lafferty and other civil libertarians are especially concerned about the LAPD's policies, given the department's history of violating public privacy throughout the decades.
As long as we do that and don't give totally into the fear, we can prevent that kind of return to a full-fledged McCarthyism or some of the other sad periods in our history when fear won the day.
Lafferty believes the fear-mongering in the media is partly to blame.
A chilling new warning about terror on U.S. soil.
Leopold agrees, also pointing a finger at our nation's leaders for using 9/11 as an excuse to create laws which, in his view, repress dissent and violate the Constitution.
The public is quickly becoming desensitized to this, and they also feel that they're powerless, in a sense. What can they possibly do about it?
As Miller fights his latest legal battle, he's convinced police tactics and fighting terror will ultimately backfire.
It gets to the point where, we have an issue, we need a police officer, then why bother calling a police officer? And when police lose credibility, then they lost everything.
What started as a simple way to express and proclaim his innocence, Miller now uses his blog to tell similar stories and continue his crusade of freedom of photography. In Los Angeles, Ramon Galindo, RT.